Hey Jade, trying to get all my stuff set up. I swear, I was getting ready and I was doing so good on time. I'm looking at the wrong place because I moved my camera. I was doing so good on time, and then I blinked, and suddenly it was a lot later than I thought it was. I still fucking keep looking. I'm going to be looking over here where my camera normally is and where the chat sits a lot today, because I moved things so that way I'm more in frame, not right this second, but when I go to my other screen, let's see. So when I was going back through the playthrough of last week, I was looking, and half the time I'm like leaning out of frame because I tend to lean like to the left and like kind of do this number a lot, and as a result I was out of frame a lot. Alright, hang on. We've already discussed Chupacabra, so where am I looking? He's gonna go back over here so I have room on my desk. Basil, no one is talking to you. Basil is at my feet and he says hello. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of these little, I think they're called Cryptids. They're like little just cryptid vinyls. I love them. So I got Bigfoot, and this is Mothman, but this is a special one. There's a different Mothman. This is just, which I may have that one somewhere, but this is just the like skeleton one. He's still down here doing his little cat thing. He's just being quiet about it. Alright. Let's see. And one of the things I do, you may laugh at me, when I use my mug warmer that I got, I like to sit it on a trivet. I sit it on a trivet so that way when it's turned on, I don't have to worry about it getting too hot underneath. Hey, Star. And so, shit. What'd I touch? That's my bad. But I moved my trivet. And anyways, I had to put it back, and I'm trying to be situated. I'm not situated. I am everywhere. So, but I want to tell you guys something I got. I was eyeballing this tarot deck for like, it's copyrighted 2018, so I'm pretty certain I was looking at like the Kickstarter for it. But I went to Spencer's yesterday, and that's where I got the shirt that I'm wearing. It says, dead inside, please fuck off. But they were having not only a big clearance, but their tarot cards and their books are all like 75% off. So I got these, and I'm not going to like flip through them or anything, because I do have a shit ton of cryptids to get through today. I actually didn't even get through half. But I just wanted to show you, like, alright. We have, oh, hang on. The Fool. And then we have, like, the Moon. They're just so pretty. And then the last one I'll show you, because all the ones I keep pulling up are just pretty. Or that are, like, right on top. This is what? Princess of Cups. So, they're just so pretty. And they've got, like, this beautiful, like iridescent silver on the sides, and then the back stuff like this. They're just beautiful. Okay. I wanted to show those to you guys though, because here in the US these retail for $25, $24.95. UK is $21.99. But I got these for 75% off, 25 bucks. So, hey, Jordan. I'm showing off a new tarot deck I got. I went shopping at Spencer's yesterday, and I got the shirt that I'm wearing, and some tarot cards, and like the little fishnet fingerless gloves and things like that. I just had fun. I like Spencer's. They have really cute stickers and things like that. They're not all just dildos and bachelorette party things. Thank you. I do love it. It's really cool. I'm actually a little bit glad that even if I was fully on camera, it cuts to where you can't see the fuck that's written on it. Which means I could technically wear this on YouTube. So I don't have to worry about blurring anything. It came out kind of strong. Not that that's a bad thing or anything like that. Alright. Make sure my phone is silent. I'm going to charge it while we're doing this. Because I fell asleep on the couch last night and forgot to charge my phone. So it's been near death all day. Alright. I'm going to try to remember. Camera is actually not even like directly in front of me. Like, this is me sitting normally. But again, I tend to lean like this. So in order to be in view. Can we just talk about how weird I am for a second? Because we all know I am weird. Alright, so we have this. Is there a way that I can... Ooh, that's better. Can I dark mode this? I'm trying to see if I can dark mode my, Nope, stop! Oh, fuck, what do you call it? Google Drive. Google Docs. I just wanted easy dark mode. But there might not be one. Preferences? Oop. We're gonna get there soon, I promise. I feel like dark mode should just be a thing that's like just easy to do in general. Oh well, I can't find it. It's okay. It's not like completely necessary. Alright. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't see an option for it. And it's so funny because like I use dark mode on my phone so often that I'm just used to it, and I've gotten to the point I prefer it on everything. So yeah. I made my coffee, and again I made it too strong. Not really, but I think I added too much cream to it and it made it cold. So it's sitting on my warmer, warming back up. Alrighty. And make sure. Yeah. I like the dark mode because my headaches and also too just wearing glasses and having everything reflect. I'm using my work desktop and it says my Dropbox is up to date, but it has like a little red thing on it. I don't know. Oh, it's just a notification that I don't need or want. Alright. So you guys can see that. I can see this. So I think you all were here last week. But let's see. We had in our S tier we have Chupacabra, the Michigan Dogman, the Beast of Bladenboro, and the Wampus Cat. Our A ranks are the Hound of Baskerville and the Fresno Nightcrawler. And then we have in our B ranking the Jackalope and the Trolls. Trying to remember what everything is. And we still have all of our like primate ones and our flying cryptids and our swimmers. Yes, troll. Oh, that is a good movie, I will say that. Alright, let's see. So we're going to start today with old Bigfoot here. And I will say, if you haven't looked on the Discord, I have the rankings listed there along with the link to the ranking Google Docs. So you can get all the lore and the links and all of that good stuff there. Okie dokie, so Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch, he sits on my desk. Actually, he sits behind me. And then I also too have compliments of Jordan, my Bigfoot mug that I use all the time. I like this. It says, believe in yourself even when no one else does. And it's got a Bigfoot quote. And then on the back it says, I hate people, and it's got the foot outline and Bigfoot flipping off whoever's looking, and I love it. But Bigfoot is often described as a large, muscular, and bipedal human or ape-like creature covered in black, dark brown, or dark reddish hair. Oh gosh, is it not the best mug? I like that it has two different sides. So I can do the believe in yourself one, like publicly, and then I can have the I hate people privately, or I can reverse it and just be like, I hate people, but I believe in myself. Descriptions estimate a height of roughly 6 to 9 feet, or 1.8 to 2.7 meters, with some descriptions having the creature stand as tall as 10 to 15 feet, or 3.0 to 4.6 meters. The alleged observations describe Bigfoot as more human than ape, particularly in regard to the face. In 1971, multiple people in Oregon filed a police report describing an overgrown ape, and one of the men claimed to have sighted the creature in the scope of his rifle but could not bring himself to shoot it because it looked more human than animal. Common descriptions include broad shoulders, no visible neck, and long arms, which many skeptics attribute to the misidentification of a bear standing upright. Some alleged nighttime sightings have stated that the creature's eyes glowed yellow or red. However, eyeshine is not present in humans or any other known great apes, and the so proposed explanations for observing eyeshine off the ground in the forest include owls, raccoons, or possums perched in foliage. Alright, here's the thing with eyeshine. Yes, technically, we do not have eyeshine. But if you look at human eyes, like through night vision or anything like that, like the night vision cameras and goggles and stuff, you'll see a reflection. If you have seen, like, people taking flashlights and scanning the forest, nothing has glowing eyes. Nothing. It will have reflective eyes, and yes, people have had this happen to them. And animals that supposedly don't also have eyeshine, or anything like that. So, can we just realize that eyeshine is a thing that happens, especially with modern day technology, and get over it? Like, you might not have it if you're using a flame torch to light your way. But if you're using, like, night vision goggles or anything like that, oh my gosh, you might. Sorry. I'm very annoyed with this phone and the fact that it just vibrates constantly, and I can't turn off the vibrations when I put it in silent mode. It's just forever vibrating, and when I put it on Do Not Disturb, it still fucking lets everything through. The settings on this thing are an absolute joke. Anyways. Bazoo. You're a good boy. Now go play. There's toys everywhere. Go get one. Let's see. Michael Rugg, owner of the Bigfoot Discovery Museums, claims to have smelled Bigfoot, stating, "Imagine a skunk that has rolled around in dead animals and has hung around garbage pits." And this is one of the creatures that we have on here is a skunk ape. He's going to come up in a little bit. This is a similar thing that is known with them, is their atrocious smell. Let's see. The footprints are as large as 24 inches or 610 millimeters long and 8 inches or 200 millimeters wide. Some footprints cast have also contained claw marks, making it likely that they came from known animals such as bears, which have 5 toes and claws. Alright, we have a lot of... I have 4 pages total for this one, so let's see. It's 1, 2... got like 2 1/4 pages of actual lore. Ecologist, is that right? Nice. Robert Powell argues that most creatures, most cultures have accounts of human-like giants in their folk history, expressing a need for some larger-than-life creature. Each language has had its name for the creature, featured in the local versions of such legends. Many names mean something like wild man or hairy man, although other names describe common actions that is said to perform, such as eating clams or shaking trees. European folklore traditionally has many instances of the wild man in the woods, or wild people, often described as a naked creature covered in hair with only the face, feet, and hands, and in some cases the knees, elbows, or breast remaining bare. These European wild people ranged from human hermits to human-like monsters. Upon migrating to North America, myths of wild people persisted, with documented sightings of wild people reported in what is now New York State and Pennsylvania. Many of the indigenous cultures across North America, the North American continent, you guys, I cannot talk. Many of the indigenous cultures across the North American continent include tales of mysterious hair-covered creatures living in the forest, and according to anthropologist David D. We're just going to go with that. I'm not going to pronounce that last name. These legends existed long before contemporary reports of the creature described as Bigfoot. These stories differ in their details regionally and between families in the same community, and are often prevalent in the Pacific Northwest. I'm trying to see where this is located at. On the Tool River Indian Reservation. I'm not sure where that's at. It doesn't say. There is a site called Painted Rock, and supposedly there is a large glyph called the glyph called the Hairy Man, and it's estimated to be 1,000 years old. And I'm trying to read things up, make sure that it's not the same. Right, Bigfoot, the Hairy Man, was a creature that was like a great big giant with long shaggy hair. His long shaggy hair made him look like a big animal. He was good in a way because he ate the animals that may have harmed people. So the tribes people told their children not to venture out near the river at night, or they may encounter the creature. 16th century Spanish explorers and Mexican settlers told of the Los Vigilantes Oscuros, or Dark Watchers. Large creatures alleged to stalk their camps at night. In the region that is now Mississippi, a priest living in Natchez in 1721 reported stories of hairy creatures in the forest known to scream loudly and steal livestock. So we just have more and more stories. We have even the Cherokee here in the Appalachian had their, not going to try and pronounce it, but it was described as slant-eyed giants and are sometimes associated with Bigfoot. Sometimes they are listed as nocturnal and others not. So, there's been supposedly in 1847, Paul Kane reported stories by the natives about, I think it's Skookums, a race of cannibalistic wild men living in the peak of Mount St. Helens. So, that's interesting. What is it you said, Star? Let me look right fast. Hang on, I gotta fix my thing. But the origins of Bigfoot was just really big-haired Indian dude with big feet, so they called him Big. I mean, there's always a possibility. Thank you, Jordan, for the 100 bits. I do appreciate that greatly. Let's see. Alright. Let's make our way down to the most known sighting of Bigfoot, and that is the Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967. On October 20th, 1967, Bigfoot enthusiast Roger Patterson and his partner Rob Bob Gimlin were filming a Bigfoot docudrama in the area called Bluff Creek in Northern California. The pair claimed that they came upon a Bigfoot and filmed the encounter. The 59.5 second long video, dubbed the Patterson-Gimlin film, PGF, has become iconic in popular culture and Bigfoot-related history and lore. It continues to be scrutinized, analyzed, and a debated subject. The picture on the list was taken from this film? It was. I recognized that one immediately. I think we all know, that, and kind of basically even a similar pose of what this little dude's doing. Yeah, it's definitely like the most iconic one. Speaking, did you guys ever watch Harry and the Hendersons? I like that. It was a fun movie. But also, I feel like it always made me sad. I haven't seen it in a really long time. So, there is our lore. The look back Bigfoot is so iconic. It is. If only they knew how iconic it would become. Kind of like with Nessie and her, like, what was it, a photograph that they did? I was trying to remember if that was a photograph or film. So, is it safe to say that he's S tier, or do we think that Bigfoot needs to rank lower on the list? Because, he's Bigfoot. I feel like he's one of the ones that almost everybody knows about. So everybody knows old Bigfoot. The doctor picture? Probably. Popularity line, you say S. Bigfoot feels overrated. Alright, so Jade, would you say that makes him A then, if he's overrated? Or are all S-tiered things overrated? Because that could also be said too. I'm trying to think of like all the anime I have watched, which is pretty much, how I learned about S-tier stuff. So I am open for discussion. What vibrated? Was it my phone? It was. Alright. Hush you. I understand that. I understand that there's not much special about them from your point of view and everything. I can see how he does seem overinflated. Honestly, a lot of these that have like the one-off stories, it's just kind of like, how'd you get so popular? Like even Beast of Bladenborough, where I'm trying so hard not to say Bladens, but he had a run in the, what was it, the 50s, and still talked about today. Chupacabra is kind of the same thing. Like sometimes things pop up, but there's a lot that it's just like a one-off kind of thing. I'm trying to look at the others that we have. You know, like Mothman's pretty much a one-off. Alright, we're going to go with S tier, and we can always move these around at the end and see if we want to move anybody else anywhere else. So, but our next one on the list is the Yeti, or the Abominable Snowman. So, we do have him and then Skunk Ape. So we have three of the primate types. And the Yeti is often described as being a large bipedal ape-like creature that is covered in brown, gray, or white hair and is sometimes depicted as having large, sharp teeth. Tibetan lore describes three main varieties of Yeti. I cannot pronounce any of these three. So the first one has black fur and is the largest and fiercest, standing around 15 feet tall. The second one stands around 8 feet tall and lives 8,000 to 10,000 feet above sea level, which is 2,400 to 3,000 meters. And then finally the third one has reddish brown hair and is only 3 to 5 feet tall. So, we have that. Yeti is Bigfoot's cold cousin. He basically is. So we have, that's why I grouped all these ones together. And you're going to laugh at what I have to say about Skunk Ape. But the Yeti is part of Tibetan Buddhism. It's considered a non-human animal that is human enough to sometimes be able to follow Dharma. Is Dharma like their God, or is it like their Bible? I don't know. I do have a little Yeti right here. So he hangs out with me a lot too. I feel like I have a lot of little things. Oh, and then like we have our little squishy Yeti that I put together that's made out of blocks. But let's see. Was this the one? Oh, man. I'm trying to remember. One of these, I think it was this one, where Josh Gates on Destination Truth went and found a footprint and got it casted, but wasn't allowed to take it out of the country. Alright. I really wish my phone would quit vibrating. Several stories feature Yetis becoming helpers and disciples to religious figures in Tibet. The images of Yetis are paraded and occasionally worshipped as guardians against evil spirits. However, because Yetis sometimes act as enforcers of Dharma, that hearing and seeing one is often considered a bad omen for which the witness must accumulate merit. Interesting. The teaching, God is more correct. Okay. So. We've got a few accounts. In 1832, James... Alright. James, I think, Princept's Journal of Asia Tech Society. I feel so stupid whenever I have to read things out loud. Oh my god, I spent my life reading silently so I didn't have to read out loud, and now that's exactly what I'm doing, and I have to fumble over everything, and I feel like a giant moron. Anyways, these are accounts of experiences in northern Nepal His local guides spotted a tall bipedal creature covered in long dark hair which seemed to flee in fear. It's concluded that it was an orangutan. An early record of recorded footprints appeared in 1899 in Lawrence Waddell's Among the Himalayas. Waddell reported his guide's description of a large ape-like creature that left prints which Waddell thought were made by a bear. He heard stories of bipedal ape-like creatures, but wrote that none, however, of the many Tibetans I have interrogated on the subject would ever give me an authentic case. On the most superficial investigation, always resolved into something that somebody heard tell of. Oh, teaching of God? Okay. I thought you were just saying he was a teaching God. Alright, so, okay. The teaching of God. Okay. I appreciate that. In 2004, Henry Gee, the editor of the journal Nature, mentioned the Yeti as an example of folk belief deserving further study, writing, "The discovery that one of our Homo floresinis, science word, survived until so very recently in geological terms, making it more than likely that stories of other mythical human-like creatures such as Yetis are found on grains of truth." So, where do we put Mr. Yeti? I have to say, my favorite version of the Yeti comes from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Bumble. It is a science word. It's like the scientific name for this particular, I don't know if it's the species or the genus whenever it's the second word, but it's Homo something. And I don't know how to pronounce the second part because it's a tongue tangler. A tier? Okay. Not quite as good as Bigfoot, yeah. I can see that. Alright, so the next one is the skunk ape. And I like to refer to skunk ape as Florida man. Why? Because he comes from Florida and he's stinky. And I mean, always gotta have the tongue tanglers. But no, like I jokingly like to just picture Florida man as a skunk ape, or skunk ape as a Florida man, however you want to put it. Automatic D and upset. Oh, alright, so here's the description. The skunk ape is commonly described as a bipedal human or ape-like creature approximately 1.5 to 2.1 meters or 5 to 7 feet tall and covered in mottled reddish-brown hair. The skunk ape is often reported to be smaller in stature compared to other traditional descriptions of Bigfoot from the northern United States and Canada. It's named for its foul odor, often described as being similar to that of a skunk. And contemporary descriptions of the skunk ape include Florida, Georgia, and Alabama folklore. So, yeah. He's a smelly Bigfoot. So, let's see. In 1929, an alleged sighting occurred at the famous and then recently constructed Perky Bat Tower in the Florida Keys. Witnesses reported that an unknown ape-like creature was drawn to the construction site. After inspecting the bat tower shortly after it had been stocked with bats, the creature shook the tower, driving off the bats before running into the woods. Skunk ape is just a homeless dude. I mean, it's possible. especially the way we treat our homeless around here. In 1942, a man reported a similar creature rushing from the brush line while he was driving down an isolated road. It was alleged to have grabbed onto his vehicle and beat on the running board and door for half a mile before departing. In the small community of Barden, in Florida, beginning in the 1940s, there are a number of alleged sightings of a creature that came to be known as the Barden Booger. In the 1960s, I don't know why I find the word booger so funny, I just do. In the 1960s, a rash of sightings in Central Florida happened around, was it Alachua County and Marin County. One such report from 1963 involved several family members encountering an ape-like creature around their rural home, including one instance of it approaching a window to peer inside at night. Reports of the skunk ape were particularly common in the 1950s through the 1970s. And the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization has archived hundreds of alleged sightings across almost every county of Florida beginning in 1955 to present day. They got creative with the name. Yep. I first heard about this in one of like the TV shows that I saw on like fucking like Discovery or History Channel or something. I just remember the dude saying, that you could smell the skunk ape. So I always just find them funny because they're essentially Bigfoot's stinky cousin. And so, but I am okay with him being a D class or a D rank because of location. I love how much crap we give to Florida, like in general, as a whole, as a country. I can't say I've ever known I've known too many natives from Florida. I think people from Florida itself, I feel like everybody moved there at some point in time, as opposed to being from there. Yep, it's a stinky job, but somebody's got to do it, and he does it well. But I will say this, so where I live at, the road that I have to drive down to essentially get anywhere is right along the river, and we have all the marshy areas, and we have, oh shit, I forget what the name of the trees are, but they're the ones that you often see in swamps that are like big and open down at the base. Like if it wasn't for the fact that there was marsh and just water in it constantly, you could almost like live inside of these because they're big and open enough that, a grown man can stretch out and take a nap. But during the right times of day, between those and the gray trees, which are trees that are in the marsh areas where you have like the brackish water, because I'm at the mouth of the river, so I got the ocean and I got the fresh water mixing together, and these trees, they can't really survive, but they can't really die, so you have them in various stages of life and decay, which means that some of them are just small stumps, some of them are tall stumps, some of them are a lot bigger, but they're all gray colored. Anyways, you go through there at the right time of day. And one, you're going to do a double take if you look over, because your eye's going to catch one of the trees and think that you've seen something. But if you go at the extra not right time of day, it smells so horrible because the tide has gone out. The heat of the day has kicked in, and in the cooler months when the tide goes out, yes, you have a smell that accompanies that. Thank you, Jordan, for the 100 bits. You have a smell that accompanies that whenever you go out in the wintertime at low tide, and it's more sea-like. Right now, it's over 90 degrees outside. You go down these areas, and it just smells like the day after a seafood boil and all the trash has been left out. It smells horrible. And so I could see how people might think that there is a stinky creature who lives in the area when it's just honestly creatures living in the area / your eyes not quite getting to see things the way they want to. So there's that. But now we're going to move on from our primate-like cryptids, and we're going to go on to some of the flying ones. I don't think I have anything here to represent our next guy, but I do have, let's see, I do have a piece of pocket lore that I posted forever ago on this one, and it's the Jersey Devil, or the Leeds Devil. So he's one of these ones that, again, only has a couple of real sightings, or like one real sighting, but has persisted and lived on. But the Jersey Devil is, I don't have much of a description for him other than a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. And the picture of him that we have, I'm going to pick it up for a second so you guys can see. It's this little guy right here, right? He's got what looks like little metal shoes on. I like this picture so much. I actually added the pictures to my list for you guys to be able to read, so that way you guys can see the pictures much bigger and everything. His little feet are just kind of cute. He's a goofy little fucker, I will say that. Oh my goodness. And I wonder when it says hooves, like what kind of hooves? Do we have, since he's got the goat hooves, does he have, or goat head, does he have goat hooves? Or does he have like donkey ones or horse ones? Or it doesn't say. People need to be a little bit more specific with things like that. Alright. The popular legend of the Jersey Devil, or Leeds Devil, is dated variously and attached to various place names such as the Pines, Pine Barrens, and Leeds Point. The Devil's Mother is sometimes called I pulled this off Wikipedia and it reads weird. The Devil's Mother is sometimes called a woman named Leeds, or Mother Leeds of Burlington, and other names such as the Shrouds, I think, have been forwarded. That doesn't. Did I get this off of Wikipedia? I did. All right. Sorry, I criticize other people's writing sometimes on this site. According to one, again, weird word copied over, in 1735, a woman named Leeds was giving birth to her 13th child and exclaimed, "Let the child be the devil." The child, though born normally, immediately grew wings, tail, and claws and flew out into the Pine Barrens. According to some, the child transformed into a creature with hooves, a goat head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch and the child's father was the devil himself. Some versions of the legend also state that the local clergyman subsequently attempted to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. And it says that there's been many claims of sightings and occurrences involving the Jersey Devil, but I feel like most of them aren't really like real ones. But anyways, let's go through. According to the legend, while visiting the Hanover Mills works to inspect his cannonballs being forged, Commodore Stephen Decatur sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball directly upon it to no effect. Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon, is also claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while hunting in his Bordentown estate about 1820. During 1840, the Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings. Similar attacks were reported during 1841, accompanied by tracks and screams. You think maybe the Chupacabra just went all the way up to Jersey and had a little bit of a Jersey Shore spring break? I should be put in the corner for that. Alright. And he had some Red Bull. Yep. Baby Cobra, yes. In Greenwich Township in December 1925, a local farmer shot an unidentified animal as it attempted to steal his chickens and then photographed the corpse. Afterward, he claimed that none of the 100 people he showed it to could identify it. So where's this photo at now? My phone. On July 27, 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes seen by residents of Downingtown. Oh my gosh. Damn it, Pennsylvania. Downingtown. It's all one word. Downingtown. It's really... Downingtown. Okay. On July 27th in 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes seen by residents of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. I don't know why I cannot say this. Downingtown, Pennsylvania, was compared to the Jersey Devil by a reporter for the Pennsylvania Bulletin of July 28, 1937. In 1951, a group of Gibbstown, New Jersey boys... What are these towns? God, why do people name these things such weird things? Right, Gibbstown, New Jersey boys claim to have seen a monster matching the devil's descriptions, and claims of a corpse matching the Jersey Devil's description arose in 1957. During 1960, tracks and noises heard near May's Landing were claimed to be from the Jersey Devil. During the same year, the merchants around Camden offered a $10,000 reward for the capture of the Jersey Devil, even offering to build a private zoo to house the creature if it was captured. Waves of sightings in 1909. During the week of January 16th through the 23rd, 1909, newspapers published hundreds of claimed encounters with the Jersey Devil from all over South Jersey and the Philadelphia area. Among these alleged encounters were claims the creature attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and a social club in Camden. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania, supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. Other reports initially concerned unidentified footprints in the snow, but soon sightings of creatures resembling the Jersey Devil were being reported through South Jersey and as far away as Delaware and West Maryland. The widespread newspaper coverage created fear throughout the Delaware Valley, prompting a number of schools to close and workers to stay home. Vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and countrysides in search of the devil. During this period, it is rumored that the Pennsylvania Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for the creature. The offer prompted a variety of hoaxes, including a kangaroo equipped with artificial claws and bat wings. Oh, Jersey, the Florida of the North. I don't know if any of y'all have been to New Jersey. My mother's brother lived up in New Jersey and Delaware for a while. You want one of these for a Digimon or Pokemon? That would be cool. That would be cool, especially a Digimon. I love Digimon. But her brother lived up there, and it is not my favorite place to ever go. I mean, it's Jersey. But also, too, they don't fucking let you pump your gas. Literally. You have to have somebody pump your gas, unless they've changed it. You have to have somebody pump your gas in New Jersey. I'm sorry. If I'm going to over squeeze the pump, I want it to be me and not somebody else. But also, too, it'll forever be the place that I sat in gum. which just to me makes it a trash state. Terrible. Oh, I'm terrible. So do we put Jersey with Florida? I'm evil. I'm evil. I'm sorry. Why am I like this? I shall never know. Alright, let's see. Oh wow, we're actually moving through these pretty fast today. I'm so proud of me. Give the skunk some company. Okay, let's see. Where is he? Alrighty. So, I'm gonna set Yeti down and switch him out for one of my mini baby Mothmen that I have. Is this a baby one? This might be a mini one. Does this tail tag say? I don't know. But let's see. Hang on. I'm pretty certain I have more. Let's see. Hang on. I could be wrong. This could be all I have right here with me. Nope. Oh, we're all gonna laugh at this one here in a second, just with how many little squishies I got. Who are you? I don't know who this is, but I got like a little... He's cute. I gotta find his tag so I know who he is. Alright. So, we got a super little pink Mothman. He is a goat. So we have the little pink one. We have one that's slightly bigger, so you guys can see. And this one is my Sakura one. And I actually got a Sakura dragon over here that I've showed off before. So we got her. And then... I'm trying to see. We have our little midnight one. And I have a whole lot more. I've got a lot of the little itty bitty ones like this. I have where they do like the little collections of them. I've got, I know over right where I sit at one is like a little rainy day one. He's got a little raincoat and his wings are rainbow. I've got one that is just the baby Mothman that's bigger than this guy right here, but his wings still are magnetic. They have them in all different sizes. And yes, I love him. I love him so much. I love all of them so much because they are my squishies. Alright, let me put these back in my basket. I have so many squishies, it's not even funny. We have a friend who, their daughter is turning 2 this weekend. I've had this giant elephant squishable for I don't know how long. It's just this big gray elephant. And so yeah, it's her birthday gift. But yeah, we got our little Mothman right here with us. And Mothman is described as a bipedal, humanoid, moth-like creature with glowing eyes. And he would never hurt nothing, now would he? Alright. Let me make sure. Okay. I think it was just emails coming through. I just constantly hear my phone vibrating and it's just driving me bonkers. Alright. So, Mothman comes from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And we have also done pocket lore on Old Mothy. Hi, Hiccup. Hi. We're going to move my phone so it's not vibrating and bothering you guys. Please stop. Go away if you're going to sit there and yell at me. I love her to death. I really do. She's a sweetheart. But she also, when her and Basil start going with their meows, it just drives me absolutely bonkers because they don't have an off button sometimes. It's like, just please stop. I'm glad that makes you laugh, Jordan. So, alrighty. Let's see. On November 15th, 1966, two young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Maletti, told police that they had seen a large black creature whose eyes glowed red standing on the side of the road near the TNT area, the site of a former World War II mutations plant. Linda Scarberry described it as a slender and muscular man about 7 feet tall with white wings. However, she was unable to discern its face due to the hypnotic effect of its eyes. Distressed, the witnesses sped away, reporting that the creature flew after their car, making a screeching sound. It pursued them as far as Point Pleasant city limits. Over the next few days, more people reported similar sightings after local papers covered it. 2 volunteer firemen saw it, said it was a large bird with red eyes. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed a shite poke. Oh. Contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors. Additionally, he blamed buzzing noises from his TV set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd on the creature. Wildlife biologist Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that the descriptions and sightings fit the sand crane, a large American crane almost as tall as a man with a 7-foot wingspan and reddish coloring around its eyes. The bird may have wandered off of its migration route and therefore was unrecognized at first because it's not native to this region. Due to the popularity of the Batman TV series at the time, the fictional superhero Batman and his rogues gallery were prominently featured in the public eye. When the villain Killer Moth did not appear on the show, the comic book influence of both him and Batman is believed by some to have influenced the... Okay. My brain was not reading that right. When the villain Killer Moth did not appear on the show, the comic book influence of both him and Batman is believed by some to have influenced the coinage of the name Mothman in local newspapers. Following the December 15th, 1967 collapse of the Silver Bridge and death of 46 people, the incident gave rise to the legend in connection of the Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse. According to a Georgian newspaper that I cannot pronounce, Russian ufologists claimed that the Mothman sightings in Moscow foreshadowed the 1999 Russian apartment bombings. There was not more about that one in this list. So, you want to make a trip to Point Pleasant before you die? Yeah, that would be cool. I've never been there as far as I know. I may have, like, I don't know if I've driven through it or anything, but I don't think I have. And I say that just because I'm not exactly sure where in West Virginia it is, and I have driven through West Virginia quite a bit, going like to Kentucky and Ohio a lot. So I'm not really sure today. Did I show you guys he got little stars on his little feet? Little star feet. Alright. He's so cute. I love how pretty his wings are. So, he's all celestial, a little midnight Mothman. But, yeah, there's like nothing really particularly evil about Mothman. He's just, I guess, like a little prophecy kind of thing. I don't know, like a foreshadowing cryptid of bad shit to come. So I feel like he's just the messenger. Yes, he is. He's got an A for you, cool, but he's ultimately a bug. Yeah, I feel like he's a good A rank one because we don't necessarily, like, he's kind of a one kind of thing. But yeah, A works for me. You like to think of him as a kind of a Grim Reaper. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Kind of like, it was like when in the episode of Supernatural with Death, when all the Reapers like just showed up and were hovering around before Death got there. I have too many references to Supernatural. I would apologize, but I'm not sorry. Alright. This is one we're going to talk about next that always makes me giggle. Because it's from South Carolina, which in this house we refer to as a swamp state. Which just says something. Because, I mean, North Carolina is like half swamp also. But they are much more of a swamp state. It is, I'm trying to think of how I would describe. It's a blend. Thank you for the 300 bits, Jordan. South Carolina, I would say, is a blend of Florida and North Carolina, with just a touch of Georgia thrown in there. Oh, but our next one is the Lizard Man, aka the Lizard Man of Scape Oro Swamp, or the Lizard Man of Lee County, or the Bishopville Monster. So we have our old Lizard Man. Definitely needed moisturizer. But this one isn't that old. So on July 14th, 1988, it's not that old because I was already born. So we're just going to lay that one out there, right? I was born in 84. If it has happened in my lifetime, it is not an old story. And that is just what I am going to go with. He has had a lot of aliases. Yes. Yep. Known by many names. So, on July 14th, 1988, the Lee Sheriff's Office investigated a report of a car damaged overnight while parked at a home in the area of Brownstown outside of Bishopville, South Carolina, on the edges of Scape Oro Swamp. So, I think all of the names got in here. So, we had Lee County, Bishopville, and Scape Oro Swamp. All of those, all right there is where this one initially happened. The car reportedly had tooth marks and scratches with hair and muddy footprints left behind. If he's a lizard man, why does he have hair? Alright. Sheriff Liston Treesdale noted that this was part of a start of various claims that eventually coalesced into a story about a lizard man in the swamp. Prompted by the news of vehicle damage, 17-year-old local Christopher Davis reported to the sheriff that his car was damaged by a creature he described as green, wet-like, about 7 feet, 2.1 meters tall, and had 3 fingers, red eyes, skin. Why does everybody go with red eyes? Red eyes, skin like a lizard, snake-like scales 2 weeks prior. According to Davis, he was driving home from work on the night shift at a fast food restaurant when his car got a flat tire. After fixing it, he saw a creature walking towards him. Davis got in his car and began to drive, but the creature was soon on top of the car. He applied the brakes, causing the creature to roll off, giving Davis enough time to escape. He may have ate something here. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. I'm sorry, guys. I got like a frog in my throat. I have a lizard man in my... I'm not finishing that sentence. I'm not finishing that at all. Alright. Drink my coffee. But yes. I'm glad you guys can laugh with me. Last week I talked about getting sniffed, and this week I'm talking about things in my throat. All right. Ooh, this one happened on my birthday. I'm so glad you guys can laugh at this with me. On August 5th, Kenneth Orr, an airman stationed at Shaw Air Force Base, filed a police report alleging that he had an encounter with the lizard man on Highway 15 and he had shot and wounded it. He presented several scales and a small quantity of blood as evidence. Orr recanted this account 2 days later when he was arraigned for unlawfully carrying a pistol and the misdemeanor offense of filing a false police report. According to Orr, he had hoaxed the sighting in order to keep stories about the lizard man in circulation. Reports of the creature gradually declined at the end of the summer. Local law enforcement officials speculated that the sightings were likely Local law enforcement officials speculated that the sightings were likely to have been a bear. In 2008, CNN mentioned the lizard man legend in a story about a couple in Bishopville who reported damage to their vehicle, including blood traces. The blood traces were subsequently found to be from a domestic dog, though the local sheriff suggested it may have been a coyote or wolf. Sorry, I just had a... I'll be right back, you guys. There was just a very large thing. Okay, I have no idea what that very large sound was that I heard, and just it scared the shit out of me. And even Toothless like popped her head up and has like that face that cats make when they hear something where their ears kind of like go like this and they look like little owls. I had no idea what it was. I just heard like a loud noise, and I don't know if it was maybe somebody downstairs or outside, but nothing's fallen or broken in my apartment. It was definitely a lizard man. It's definitely something. Oh my gosh. I like legit, my heart is still pounding because I have no idea what that was that popped up. It could be any of the cryptids, yes. It could be. Also too, you know, it's not like I'm the first person who lived in this apartment, you know. Somebody could have died in here and just all of a sudden decided to make their presence known. Not cool though when I'm sitting here reading about fucking cryptids. And my heart fucking stops. Yeah, maybe not Nessie. Alright. So, I think I was trying to get through this last little bit. In 2015, a local TV station featured photos and videos claiming to be of the lizard man, allegedly taken by Jim Wilson and other unidentified individuals. So, that is our story of the lizard man. He is just running around South Carolina for a little while in the 80s. let's see, so July 14th and August 5th in 1988, and then after that, and that the August 5th one was supposedly, he claimed that he hoaxed that one. So we had that, and then 2 weeks prior to the initial sighting was on July 14th, but after that one came forward, we had one that supposedly happened 2 weeks later, or 2 weeks prior. So, where do we put... Man, you guys, my brain is now just shot. I don't know what it was that I heard, but I definitely did not like it. Could you guys hear anything by any chance? Did you guys hear like a thump or anything that could have been a loud noise that would have scared the crap out of me, or are me and Toothless just hearing things on our end? Because, ugh. Watch it be like some random pile of books. You heard it? Okay. Alright, you guys definitely heard that. Makes me feel better. Makes me feel not alone. Watch it just be like one of my giant book stacks that I have falling over. Man. If I was the type to do shots, I have to be doing like a shot right now. But I'm not the type to do shots anymore. Figured it was one of the cats getting into things. Yeah, no, normally when it's one of them, they'll dart by as they're running off to hiding spots, but there wasn't any darting. Gonna give this a B ranking for its making its presence known on stream. I like that. Alright. He's a good, like, middle of the road cryptid also. You know. Like, we'll probably never know for sure what it was. It could have been anything. Yeah. Alright. Alright. I'm good. Alright, the next one we have is from Ohio. And I want to say I've actually been in this area. I feel like I looked it up, or it mentions an area. It's not a bad thing, Jade. I may have just looked up where this was. But the next one we have is the Lowland Frogman, or the Loveland Frog, or the Loveland Frogman, or the Loveland Frog, or the Loveland Lizard, from Loveland, Ohio, which is about 15 miles or 24 kilometers northeast of the Cincinnati city limits. So, not necessarily near you, Jade, but still the Ohio area. I feel like whenever, like, we have, like, the ones that are just, like, the cryptids that are so, like, locally known to one state, everybody kind of always cringes, like, oh my god, why is it my area? Because we're always just afraid of what our area Nessie, or not Nessie, cryptid would be. I was thinking Lake Norman, so, you know, Nessie there. But, yeah. So, this is a legendary humanoid frog described as standing roughly 4 feet tall, or 1.2 meters. And I have to laugh because I wish I had a copy of one of the magazines here, but we had a local artist that would make these beautiful copper frogs that I've always wanted some for, like, a front yard or something. They're yard decorations, and they're about Frogman's height. And they're so pretty, and they patina as they sit outside and everything, so they just get more and more pretty as they age. But yeah, they have different ones that are, like, laying out in the sun or playing instruments and things like that. And I always wanted one of the ones that was not one, but I wanted a group of them, like, as a little band to sit in the yard somewhere. But that's just me. So let's see here. According to various legends, the creature was first sighted by a businessman or a traveling salesman driving along an unnamed road at night in 1955. So perfect urban legend beginnings. Some versions of the story specifying the month of May. In one story, the driver was heading out of the Branch Hill neighborhood when he spotted three figures standing on their hind legs alongside of the road, each 3 to 4 feet tall, or 0.91 to 1.22 meters in height, with leathery skin and frog faces. In other versions of the story, the creatures were spotted under or over a poorly lit bridge, and one held a wand over its head that fired a spray of sparks. Yep, some random dude on a random road saw some shit in the bushes. And apparently, in some cases, they also had sparklers. Because that's just what I think of. I don't know when sparklers became a thing, but that's just what I'm thinking of. Some random... Oh, wait, no. We have a magical girl frog? Yes. Yes. We have a magical girl situation here. So I'm going to pull out my little dandelion as my little frog wand. But I can't make it shoot sparks. And there is nothing that I could do that would not look like a gesture of me doing something highly inappropriate. And we're not going to do that. We're also going to switch to the marigold. So we now have a little one there, Magic. You have a... on that note, it's a quick side note. Have you guys watched The Apothecary Diaries? It's a very cute anime. It is available on Netflix, however, you have more episodes on Crunchyroll. It is super cute. It's like it's in a completely like fictional kind of setting, but of a lot of real life kind of stuff. Anyways, frog gets tossed around at one point in time, and it's hilarious and in context with. But I will say it's not a lewd anime. It is a wonderful anime, and it's not lewd. Despite what you might think with me talking about the frogs. Alright. On March 3rd, 1972 at 1 a.m., Loveland police officer Ray Shockey, that's a shocking last name, but Ray Shockey was driving on Riverside Drive near the Totes Boot Factory and the Little Miami River when an unidentified animal scurried across the road in front of his vehicle. Real life Frogger here. The animal was fully illuminated in his vehicle's headlights, and he described it as 3 to 4 feet tall and about 50 to 75 pounds or 25 to 35 kilograms with leathery skin. He reported spotting the animal crouched like a frog before it momentarily stood erect to climb over the guardrail and back down towards the river. 2 weeks after the incident, a second Loveland police officer, Mark Matthews, reported seeing an unidentified animal crouched along the road in the same vicinity as Shockey's sighting. Shockey's sighting is just a little harder to roll off the tongue and not giggle at. Matthews shot the animal, recovered the body, and put it in his trunk to show Officer Shockey. According to Matthews, it was a large iguana about 3 or 3.5 feet, 0.9 or 1.1 meters long, and he didn't immediately recognize it because it was missing its tail. Matthews speculated the iguana had been someone's pet that either got loose or was released when it grew too large. According to Matthews, Shockey was shown the dead iguana and confirmed it was the animal he had seen 2 weeks previously. Matthews recounted the incident to the author of a book about urban legends, but says the author omitted the part that confirmed that the creature was an iguana rather than a frogman. Matthews also recounted the frogman story in 2016, again on TV. So, we have... In the 70s, we have a large iguana, but we do have the urban legend from the 1950s about our magical girl frogmen. The 70s one is debunked, but our 1950s urban legend can still hold strong. That somewhere they're going to take their magical wand and shoot sparks up into the sky and transform into whatever they want. Princes, princesses, crime fighters, whatever. But I would be interested to see how an iguana could stand up on 2 feet. Does that happen? Can that happen? Sailor frog, yes. I like that. But I'm not sure if I've ever heard of an iguana being able to stand up on 2 feet. I don't know. I feel like since this one's debunked. Alright. You may be misspelling the enemy name. Is it Liza Foles from Zelda? Iguana on 2 feet? Let me put my flower down before I knock everything over by playing and being a 40-year-old child. Okay, I had to look at my pictures for a second. So, I think I'll put this one right there, B, with the other guys. Lizophos? I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. But, I like how I haven't brought myself to do any C rankings. But B seems like a good average. Especially with half the story being debunked. We don't know about the other half. And just being a fun urban legend. So. You sure you wouldn't be... What? I missed something. Okay. So next on our list, we're going to have a shapeshifter. You wouldn't be able to say it right. Okay. Oh no, it's all good. I know the stream sometimes lags too. I sometimes forget what it was I was saying. So, but on this one, this is a shapeshifter from Norway. And Star, I should have asked you how to pronounce this one. Is it a Nokken? It's also a... Is it Pukin? It sucks when you see letters that you recognize, but you're also not 100% sure if they are pronounced the same way in other languages. Because they're usually not. Is pronounced with one of the Norwegian letters. Alright. We're just going to call this our little Norway shapeshifter. His true appearance is horrible as he is covered in moss and his eyes are bright yellow. Has a large mouth with sharp teeth and its eyes of that... Wait, no. His skin is that of a drowned man who has been underwater for a long time. So his true appearance is basically a bloated corpse, it sounds like to me. Not necessarily bloated, but waterlogged corpse. The first one I said was more correct. Did I say Nookin? I don't even remember how I said it. Oh my gosh. Oh, words that I'm not familiar with. But see, this is also too why. Okay. This is why I also have issues with trying to pronounce stuff. Because it's just like, again, I think I'm sounding it out right because I'm pronouncing letters the way I would pronounce them in just English, but, you know. And not just English, but southeastern North Carolina English. In the stories, they live in waters with water lilies, so it is easier to attract people near the water, especially children who want to collect the lilies. Don't collect the lilies. As a shapeshifter for women, he becomes a handsome young man with a violin, for which he uses to play beautiful, seductive music to attract women closer. Another form is that of a beautiful white horse with opal black eyes. The horse's mane is also is almost like thick fog, and it would shine with a white radiance. Could also sorry. He could also transform into an old wooden ship or an old tree trunk. I like the idea of being a ship or a tree trunk. That's neat. And then his appearance is horrible as he is covered in moss and his eyes are bright yellow. It is said if one is captured, his name must be said and he will disappear into the waters again. Or you could also try to appease him by bringing him a gift that could be 3 drops of blood, a bottle of vodka, or wet tobacco. What is it? I guess it's, I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess it's like chewing tobacco. And then he would change his attitude and perhaps teach you to play his melodies. That's interesting. The thing just wants to have a Good Friday. Yes. Yep, a little vodka, a little music. Very scary. I'm not entirely sure I know what I would do if something grabbed me and then transformed into essentially a bloated corpse. Hello. So Basil was in my bedroom. He did not make a loud noise because it didn't come from there. Maybe it was Hiccup and she's hiding somewhere because she feels like she did something wrong, and not that she necessarily did anything wrong, but loud noises during the streams are not fun. So, okay. So where do we want to put our waterlogged shapeshifter from Norway who's going to pull us down and under into the water, unless we give him vodka? B, at least. Yeah, I would say at least B. This one kind of reminds me of the Siren of the French Broad, just in the sense that it's more of she goes after males. B sounds good. All right. Oh man. Oh, how else? We'll put him in an A rank because we did put the trolls down in a B rank before. And now we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our other most well-known one, which is Nessie. And I have a little Nessie. I think I have a little tiny Nessie. She had little spots on her back, and she usually hangs out in a gravy boat that I have, because you gotta keep her all, watery. So Nessie, aka the Loch Ness Monster, here in my house normally lives in a gravy boat, but normally she lives in Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. And we all know Nessie is one of the most popular and well-known lake monsters that we have. Sea serpents, whatever you want to call them. Trying to think of, because we do have other ones that have been around for a while, but this one has been around for a super long time. Alright, so Nessie is one of the best names. Like, when you say Loch Ness Monster, that sounds really cool, but even shortened to Nessie is really cool too. but is often described as a large, long-necked, and with one or more humps protruding from the water. And the earliest report of a monster in the vicinity of Loch Ness appears in the Life of St. Columbia by something I can't quite pronounce. It kind of looks like abdomen, but there's asterisks. So I'm not quite sure how I would pronounce that. We're just going to say by ad. Written in the 7th century AD. So that is the earliest report of a monster sighting in the Loch Ness area. 7th century AD. According to Ad, writing about a century after the events described, Irish monk St. Columbia was staying on the island of the Pigs. I need a Scottish person to tell me how to pronounce these. With his companions when he encountered local residents burying a man by the River Ness. They explained that the man was swimming in the river when he was attacked by a water beast that mauled him and dragged him under the water despite their attempts to rescue him by boat. Columbia sent a follower to swim across the river. I think this might be an Italian name. The beast approached him, but Columbia made the sign of the cross and said, "Go no further, do not touch the man, go back at once." The creature stopped as if it had been pulled back with ropes and fled, and his men and the others gave thanks for what they perceived as a miracle. In October of 1871 or 72, D. Mackenzie of Balnan reportedly saw an object resembling a log or an upturned boat wriggling and churning up in the water, moving slowly at first before disappearing at a faster speed. The account was not published until 1934 when he sent his story in a letter to Rupert Gould shortly after popular interest in the monster increased. In 1888, Mason Alexander MacDonald sighted a large, stubby-legged animal surfacing from the loch and propelling itself within 50 yards or 46 meters of the shore where MacDonald stood. He reported his sighting to Loch Ness Water bailiff Alexander Campbell and described the creature as looking like a salamander. The best-known article that first attracted a great deal of attention about a creature was published on the 2nd of May in 1933 in Inverness Courier about a large beast or whale-like fish. The article by Alex Campbell, he was water bailiff for Loch Ness, and the part-time journalist discussed a sighting by Aldi McKay of an enormous creature with the body of a whale rolling around in the water of the loch where she and her husband John were driving on the A82 on the 15th of April in 1933. The word monster was reportedly applied for the first time in Campbell's article, though some reports claim that it was coined by editor Evan Barron. Modern interest in the monster was sparked by a sighting on the 22nd of July 1933 when George Spicer and his wife saw an extraordinary form of animal cross the road in front of the car. They described the creature as having a large body about 4 feet 1.2 meters high and 25 feet or 7.6 meters long, and a long, wavy, narrow neck slightly thicker than that of an elephant's trunk and as long as the width of the road, which was 10 to 12 feet or 3 to 4 meters. They saw no limbs. It lurched across the road toward the loch 20 yards or 18 meters away, leaving a trail of broken undergrowth in its wake. Spicer described it as the nearest approach to a dragon or prehistoric animal that I have ever seen in my life, and having a long neck which moved up and down in the manner of a scenic railway. That's weird. It had an animal in its mouth and had a body that was fairly big with a high back, but if If there were any feet, they must have been of the web kind, and as for a tail, I cannot say, as it moved so rapidly. When we first got to the spot, it had probably disappeared into the loch. Okay, when we got to the spot, it had probably disappeared. Though he was the first to describe the creature as a plesiosaur-like dinosaur, evidence suggests by researchers at Columbia University in 2013 prove his story to be fake. The university and Daniel Loxton suggested that Spicer sighting was fictionalized and inspired by a long-necked dinosaur that rises out of the lake in King Kong, a film that was extremely popular in cinemas in his hometown of London during August 1933, when Spicer reported the sighting. Loxton and Donald Prohero? I don't know. Donald later cited King Kong as evidently an influence in the Loch Ness Monster myth. I'm sorry, guys. Our most famous photograph is the surgeon's photograph from 1934. It is the first to portray its head and neck, and it is attributed to Robert Kenneth Wilson, he was from London. I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure what he is a doctor of. It is the picture on the tier list. It is. On April 20th, 1934, multiple British newspapers reported Wilson's claim having seen the monster while driving near Loch Ness the day before, but the stories did not mention the existence of the photograph. Dr. Wilson described the monster as having a small head and swan-like neck protruding 3 feet above the surface of the water. For 60 years, the photo was considered evidence of the monster's existence, although skeptics dismissed it as driftwood, an elephant, otter, or bird. The photo scale was controversial and is often shown cropped, making the creature seem large and the ripples like waves, when the uncropped photo shows the other end of the loch and the monster in the center. The ripples in the photograph were found to fit the size and pattern of small ripples rather than large waves photographed up close. Analysis of the original image fostered further doubt. In 1993, the makers of the Discovery Communications documentary Loch Ness Discovered analyzed the uncropped image and found a white object visible in every version of the photo, implying that it was on the negative. It is believed to be the cause of the ripples, as if the object was being towed, although the possibility of a blemish on the negative could not be ruled out. An analysis of the full photograph indicated that the object was small, about 60 to 90 centimeters, or 2 to 3 feet long. And then our last piece of really known footage was a piece of film from 1960, in which we had Tim Dinsdale, and he was an aeronautical engineer, filmed what he believed to be a dark hump that left a wake crossing Loch Ness on the 23rd of April 1960. Dinsdale, who reportedly had the sighting on his final day of search. Why is it always on like their last day they see stuff? Described it as mahogany red with a blotch on its side when viewed through binoculars. He said that when he mounted his camera, the object began to move, and he shot 40 feet or 12 meters of film. According to the Joint Air Reconnaissance Intelligence Center, who published a 1966 report analyzing the film, the object was probably animate. Okay. After the film, Dinsdale continued to pursue finding Loch Ness Monster, but while he claimed to have additional sightings, he was unable to produce more photogenic evidence. Trying to leave legacy behind by making stuff up. Oh yeah, it is the picture has been confirmed to be a hoax. He did admit it. It's almost kind of like the Bigfoot, the Patterson film, where I want to say like his partner or whatever on their deathbed admitted that it was fake. The same thing with the Loch Ness Monster photograph. But it is cool. It is interesting. It is kind of, I keep playing with Nessie and her tail. But it is interesting that one of the sightings was inspired by King Kong because Normie here has been inspired by Nessie. So everything is inspired by something. So where do we put Little Miss Nessie? I think I would just assume with a name like Nessie that it's a girl. I'm trying to remember. I think this is one of the like little claw machine wins. I think you put $1 in. As long as you are halfway good. Always S. That's S, dear. Alright. Yeah, that's the thing. Even if she's not a cryptid, but she's a dinosaur, how cool would that be? Alright. So, on to our next lake monster. We have Ogopogo, who is a favorite of mine. And I wanted to add him to this list, but I didn't know how to spell Ogopogo. I figured I would spell it wrong. But Star, you put it on the list anyways. You read my mind. And this one comes from British Columbia, Canada. But I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this. Okanagan Lake? It's just Ogopogo's lake. And Ogopogo is a serpentine creature with a smooth, dark skin and a large body thicker than a telephone pole and being up to 15 meters or 49 feet in length. The monster is said to move at incredible speeds, coiling its body in vertical undulations and propelling its the descriptions people use with this and propelling itself with a powerful tail. Please keep your feet or your claws out of my rug. Stop. He's being very cute, but he's digging into my carpet. Alright, many have compared the creature as being strikingly similar to the cryptid Cadborosaurus or the extinct Basilosaurus. Dinosaur words are hard. Words are hard. According to historian Mark Orkin, Basil. I will throw Yeti at you if you do not get your claws out of my carpet. Move. I like how you spelled Ogopogo with all the extra O's. Alright, so according to Mark Orkin, the creature just received its colonial name on a night in 1924 when the strands of an English music hall song were first heard in the city of Vernon, British Columbia. Orkin cites the following lines from the song. His mother was an earwig, his father was a whale, a little bit of head and hardly any tail, and Ogopogo was his name. Orkin, however, notes that a somewhat different form of the song appeared in the Vancouver province in 1912. In 1912. This is very confusing. Literally, this is how it reads in the Vancouver province in 1912, August 24, 1926. I don't know why it was written like that. According to the DC, the name was first applied in 1912. Apparently, the creature may sometimes be referred to by the pet name Augie. Smaller creatures may be referred to Ogopups. Yeah. I'm not gonna repeat that one, but yeah. When words meant different things. According to Ben Radford, the Ogopogo is more closely tied to native myths than any other lake monster. There's a couple of tribes that had the Ogopogo, which they called something else, as an evil supernatural entity with great power and ill intent. And the translation of their word sometimes means water demon, water god, or sacred creature of the water. In native lore, he demanded a live sacrifice for safe crossing of the lake. For hundreds of years, First Nations would sacrifice small animals before entering the water. Oral traditions often describe visiting Chief Tim Basket, who rejected the required sacrifice, denying the existence of the demon. Upon entering the lake on a canoe with his family, Ogopogo whipped up the surface of the lake with his long tail, and the canoe and its occupants were stuck at the bottom of the lake. And this is, of course, like their version of it, and I just don't know how to pronounce it. But it was often described as using its tail to create fierce storms to drown victims. In 1855, a settler, John McDowell, claimed that his horses were being sucked down into the water and nearly his canoe before he cut the line. According to Pat Raphael of the West Bank First Nation, a member of the larger Nation Alliance. I hate that I can't pronounce these because, I would like to give them credit. But the demonic view came through miscommunication between Canada's early European settlers and the native people. So, to them, it was a sacred spirit of the lake that protects the valley, and it was said to dwell in caves under Rattlesnake Island, aka Monster Island, or adjacent to Squally Point. Susan Allison's 1872 sighting was the first detailed Ogopogo account from a white settler. She was the first non-native person to live in the region, establishing relations with the native peoples. While driving Highway 97 in 1968, Art Fulton noticed something moving in the lake. He pulled off the road and filmed what he claimed to be footage of the alleged creature, showing a large wake moving across the water. He estimated that Ogopogo was 100 meters or 110 yards offshore. A computer analysis of the footage concluded that it was a solid three-dimensional object. He noticed it was something large and lifelike out in the distance of the calm water and pulled out his home movie camera to capture the object. A 2005 investigation conducted by Benjamin Rayford with Joe Nickel and John Kirk for the National Geographic Channel TV show Is It Real? Utilized a surveyor boats to find out the actual distance of the alleged creature from the shore. They found that it was much closer to the shore than originally thought, resulting in a reduction of actual size and speed. They concluded that it was likely a real animal, but its size had been greatly overestimated, and that it was probably a waterfowl, otter, or beaver too far away to be identified. In 1980, around 50 tourists watched an alleged Ogopogo for about 45 minutes off a beach. Larry Tal, the tourist from Vancouver, captured 10 seconds of sighting on an 8mm film. Some skeptics have suggested that this footage it captured is only a pair of otters. Another sighting in 1989 in the area of log booms near Bear Creek. Ken Chaplin and his 78 father, Clem, staked out the area with a video camera, caught what he described as a slim, serpent-like creature measuring up to 15 feet or 4.6 meters in length, swimming approximately 75 feet or 23 meters from their canoe. The creature slapped its tail before diving, with a force Chaplin described as being enough to have killed a man had it had hit him. They returned to the location with his daughter a few days later and sighted the same creature again. These sightings were cataloged in magazines and newspapers and appeared in an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. If it happened on Unsolved Mysteries, it's real. 3 sightings were reported in September 2018, one of which described a giant snake approximately 15 meters or 49 feet long. In June 2024, there was a reported sighting which described a long snake in the water. So that's what we have for old Ogopogo. So, where would we like to rank old Ogie? I guess they called him Augie, but I said Ogie, I think. Whatever. Hey, maybe that's what I was thinking. Yeah, he's not quite Nessie. He's kind of like the Yeti. Not as popular as Bigfoot and Nessie, but Yeti and Ogopogo are still, known. Oh, man. Sorry, it feels good to stretch. I'm like, not trying to hunch over, but I'm like hunching over a little bit. Alright. And so this brings us to our last one, you guys. I've never heard of this one before, and it's from Ireland and Scotland. So there's going to be, this one has a lot of words, or a lot of names that I cannot pronounce because they are all Celtic. And if you don't know anything about, well, I won't say Celtic, they're Gaelic. If you don't know anything about Gaelic, depending on if you're in Ireland or Scotland, it is pronounced 2 fucking different ways. And also, too, apparently there is a child version and an adult version, because why? That's why you included it? Hey, Derek. Oh, you included it because you never heard of it. I thought for a second, you included it because it had a whole bunch of had a name that you knew I would not be able to pronounce. And also, too, the fun thing with Gaelic, me trying to sound out, or anybody trying to sound out a Gaelic word, you are going to pronounce it wrong. 100%. Because the way their words are pronounced and the way their words are spelled are like 2 different things. So, this last one we have is King Otter. Before I continue, Derek, you're going to want to go back because we did go over your favorite Mothman. He was on the list. So you're going to have to go back and watch that. But for now, we have King Otter, aka Waterhound, or Irish Crocodile. Oh, I know you love Mothman. Your middle name is technically Gaelic. Oh, that's neat. I guess I never really thought of Sean being a Gaelic name. Thank you for gifting us up, by the way. I really appreciate that. So, like I said, we have King Otter, our waterhound, or our Irish crocodile, and he resembles both a dog and an otter, although it's sometimes described as half dog, half fish. It lives in the water and has fur with protective properties. So we have ourselves a little water doggo. Physical description of King Otter: resembles an otter, but is said to be about 5 times as large, 10 to 15 feet, or 3.0 to 4.6 meters, with a white pelt, black ear tips, and a black cross shape on its back. Though due to murky waters it is said to reside in, its pelt may be portrayed as darker. So, there are little to no written records of King Otter, since its legend has relied heavily on oral storytelling and tradition. In 1722, Grace, locally known as Grace Connolly, her maiden name, oh thank God, she got one of them Celtic last names I am not going to pronounce, lived in a town in the northwest corner of Glenday Low? Damn it, Scotland. One morning she went down to the lake to wash some clothes. Some accounts say that her husband, Terrence, rushed to the shore after hearing her scream, while others say he went down after she failed to return that evening. Both accounts say her husband rushed down only to find her mutilated body with the king otter sleeping on top of her. Terrence runs home and grabs a dagger before returning to kill it, and as the beast died, it let out a whistling yell to its mate, who rose from the lake. The second beast chased him, and after a long and bloody battle, which some accounts say he did not face alone, he killed the second king otter. So, we have clearly more than one. There wasn't any more like lore about it than this, so it could have just been old tellings with nothing new. I don't know. It could just kind of be one of those things that fell away in modern times with other cryptids, but it is really cool sounding. I do like the idea that it's like part dog, possibly part otter. Otters are really cute little things, but they are basically water cats, and I could see, I wouldn't say it's extinct, is, because there was two of them, so to me that says that there could have been a family of them, and they could have had more / little clans. Otters are definitely bigger than you would expect. Yeah, you might be thinking of sea lions. The otters I've seen are just ones from here, and they're little like river otters, and they are essentially cat-sized. And they play like cats, and they look kind of like cats, and they're just basically little water cats. But sea lions are bigger than what people think they are. Otters are small. You just had a brain block, yeah. But I'm trying to think, like, my flowers are all moving. I would say, I'm going to put this one on the B rank because we don't know for certain. We don't have enough stories. We just have one to know more about it. But I would think, since it spans Ireland and Scotland, it has to be in more than just one lake. Like, it would have to be in multiples. Put it on C to finish. Oh, all right. I'm sorry, King Otter. Oh, didn't mean to minimize that. For fuck's sake, stop that. I got too many screens. But yeah, this is fun. I gotta do more tier ranking things like this again, and more like stuff like this. It's fun. Oh, excuse me. It's fun because I like being able to like look up different things. The possibilities are endless. I could rank a whole bunch of things. We could do a whole day where we just rank my stuffed animals. I'm not going to do that because I love them all so much that to put any of them on any kind of lower ranking would not be allowed. All S tiers, you need to watch that stream. But yeah. Like, I'm just like looking around at all the ones that I just have in my eyesight that you guys haven't seen. Like, I have, and I can't stand up and grab them because I will knock everything on my desk over. But I've got, starting from up here, I have a ghost. I've got a plague doctor barista. I've got a cup of hot cocoa, rainbow hot cocoa, a cup of decaf coffee. Then I had all my ones that I pulled out for the stream. And then I got the basket of ones that are underneath I got Jeb down here. I forget what I have a little turtle. I forget what the turtle's name is, but then I've got a boba tea. I got my nightcrawler. I have a little like squirrel raccoon something or another that's pink. I have so many along my kitchen counter, like above my sink and everything. I have a taco cat. I have a salt shaker, a pepper shaker. I have a dragon fruit dragon. I think like a kiwi fruit one. I don't know. I have a hot dog. I've got some kind of critter that's also a loaf of bread. I have soy sauce. I have ramen. I think I have a dumpling up there. This is just in my general facility. Okay, so Fresno Nightcrawler, the reasoning we did not put him as an S tier is strictly because so many people associate him with being an alien and not a cryptid. So that's why they got A tier. And Mothman got his A tier. I forget what our reasoning was because it happened today and I haven't looked back at it. But we had a reasoning. I forget what it was. But it is funny. We because I have so many Mothman squishies. I have a bunch of the Mothman squishies, a lot of the Plague Doctor and Nurse squishes, and then there's another one that I have a lot of that were one of the little shapes that they did. I mean, I got like frogs and stuff like that. Whatever the reason for Mothman was wrong. It was a group effort to decide that. But I have talked about doing like some kind of photo shoot with all of my squishies that are of certain groups that I can put them all together. Yeah, that's it. Jade pointed out that at the end of the day, he's just a bug. He's more than a bug in your heart. I know. We all have our favorites. We really do. We all have our favorites. We all have those ones that we love and adore and wish we could have more of. I say as I accidentally whack my vinyl Mothman on the nose by accident. And so he's really cute like this though, but I still say he looks like Stolas from Hell of a Boss. Like I pointed out to me and I can't unsee it. But that's okay because that makes me extra happy when he's chilling behind me and I catch view of him. So it's funny how these all have red eyes, even though we talked about how, like, we don't really have red eyes as a thing. Try to move all my stuff so that way I don't knock everything over on my desk when I go to stand up and move. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to, if I unplug everything, I apologize. I'm going to unplug my mug warmer. Because while I know I won't accidentally turn it on, I don't trust a cat not to jump up here and mess with shit and then accidentally not only turn it on but knock a piece of paper onto it and then my whole apartment goes up. It's time for sleep. Yeah, I gotta get ready and go too. You have a good night, Star. Everybody else who's on stream with me, you guys all have a good night. I gotta hop off here and go out into the world where it's very, very hot and I don't want to go because it's gross and hot. Thank you for the little penguin hearts. Time to go make dinner. Yeah, I got to figure out what I want for dinner. I have to go to the store. And I don't want to do that. But I won't melt. I'll do my best. I'll do my best not to. Alright. I gotta quit playing with my stuffed animals. You guys all have a good one, and I will talk to you all later. And I'll be back next Friday, 4 to 6.